Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be making fried squash and shrimp. You can see I have the squash that I've already picked yesterday from my garden. So I will be starting the process now by cutting the squash up and show you how to cook it after I finish. I'm cutting the squash into pieces and then I'll peel it and cut it up. This is what the squash look like inside, so I have to take out the inside of the squash and then I peel the outside off. Okay, after I finish peeling the outside off, then I cut it up like this. I cut it into small pieces. So I'll continue peeling and cut it up. When I finish cut it up, we'll go to the processing of cooking it. So this is what I'll be adding today to my squash. I got some fresh pepper here, and then I'll go and get some celery, which I have in the garden. Fresh celery. And I'm gonna get some thyme also. Some fresh thyme. You can see this is the fine leaf thyme. So this I use in the squash. And I also have some parsley here. So we're gonna add the parsley, the thyme, the celery, and the pepper into this. I also have some fresh vegetable I pick here, which is kalalu, but we call it poi bhaji, and I also have some cucumber that I already picked. So these are all the produce that I have from the garden. So I think we're gonna add a second squash to the one that we have. So we're getting the next one from the garden. So I finished cutting up my squash, and today these are the ingredients that I'm going to add into the squash. Is onion, we have shallot, tomato, and garlic and pepper, which I've already blended. So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my shrimp to fry. I just shrimp like about for 3 minutes. And then I take it out from the oil. First, what I will put into my oil, this is the way how I do it. I normally fry my onions first. Okay, so I'm frying my onion a little, so it gets a little brown. When you get a little brown, then I add my garlic and pepper, which I've already blended. And in the meanwhile, that is frying up there, I'm gonna chop my celery up. I'm going to chop my celery up here. I use a lot of celery into my food because it give it a good flavor. So now I will add my celery into it. That's the celery and the parsley I add into it, and allow this to fry up for a little. So now I will add the squash into the pot. Okay. After finish adding the squash, I'll give it a little turn to make sure the seasoning is being well mixed into the squash. Okay, you can see the seasoning has been well mixed there. I'm going to add a little salt into the pot. After adding the little salt to the pot, I mix it again. So this is what it looked like after you put all your seasoning into it and turn it up. This is what it looked like into the pot. Then I will add my shrimp into it. And give it another spin. Okay, I'll take the cover after this and cover it and leave it for like about 20 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes. Not to be. I'll put the cover onto it, and within the 15 to 20 minutes I will check it to see what it looked like. When I check it and see what it looked like and it's steamed down, when it's steamed down, then I will add my tomato, and then after it finished, then I'll add my shallot onto it. So I'll give it a check and give it a little turn to make sure that it's okay. In the meanwhile that my squash is cooking down, I'm gonna go and water the garden for 2-3 minutes. I'll water my garden. This is the cucumber tree I have here. I also have some eggplant on the side here, and this is a squash. That's where I picked the squash from here. I picked one yesterday, and I picked one today. I also have some herbs on the side here, callaloo, and herbs on the side here, my thyme, parsley, cilantro. I also have some mint that I get from my sister in Connecticut. She was so nice, she gave me some mint that she have in her yard. So I plant those here. So I'm watering all of these at the same time. This is like my borer tree, which I'll be having borer on it for next week. Carilla. I can show you my carilla is getting big already. This is my carilla. So I start to see a couple of carilla on the tree. And this is the rest of the garden here. Tomato, borer, pepper in the garden. So I'm going to check it again to make sure it's okay. It's frying down. See, the squash is losing a lot of water, which is normal when you cook squash. It always would lose a lot of water. So when the water have gone down, that means the squash is actually finishing. So I'll let it sit there for a little while again. I will be adding my tomato in a few minutes. I'll give it like about 5 minutes more, and then I'll add my tomato into it. So actually every summer I like to cook outside, especially by the garden. I have my garden, so I pick fresh stuff and then I cook it out here. And when I cook outside, it actually reminds me of Guyana. Although I don't have a fireside like everybody else, I use the outdoor stove where I cook, and I enjoy doing this. It's like an everyday hobby for me. be cooking outside here. So it's about to done, so I'll add my tomato into here. And if you can see, I have my little friend out here, always stay with me outside when I cook. Coco, she always come out here and look at me when I cook in the summertime. So here's where I add my tomato into it. And after finish, add my tomato. I give it another stir. So the tomato gonna be able to melt inside of it. And I'll let it simmer down there for another 5 minutes. And I think that's gonna be it after 5 minutes. Okay, you can see that the water have already evaporated from the squash. So this is what it looked like when it actually finished. So I will be adding my shallot on top of it as a garnish. So you can see I finished put my shallot into it, and it have a very beautiful color. It smells good. It look real nice. This is what I'm gonna have for dinner today. It take me like 20 minutes, and within 20 minutes you can do this and have it for your dinner. So let me get the container that I will empty it into. So I'll empty it in my container here. I don't want none to spill on the ground because it looks so good. Thank you for cooking with me today with the fried squash and shrimp and paratha roti. Let me take a taste to make sure everything is okay. Wow, this is so good. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe and give it a thumbs up and a like.